Hi, in the previous video, we created a new Unity project. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Unity environment and what each tab and window does. If you're looking at the same thing, well, it's good, but if the thing that you're seeing is different than this, it can have two reasons. Either Unity has changed its layout, which is not very probable, or you've changed it. And if that's the case, I want you to set the layout back to default from here so that I can be sure that we are both looking at the same thing. Now I'm going to start from this project tab. The project tab shows you two folders, the assets and the packages. You can locate those folders where you have located your project. This project is located in drive D. Let me show you from here. In drive D, Unity, first try. That was the name we selected for our project in the previous video. And inside this folder, that was the master folder of the project, there are 7 folders, and assets and packages are only 2 of them that you can access from here. You cannot access the other folders, and I guess that's a good thing because you're not supposed to mess with the contents of the other folders. You may develop a fully professional video game or a Unity project, and you will never ever need to change the contents of those other folders. Whatever you want to do, you can do it inside the assets and the packages. For example, you can go and create a new folder inside the assets folder. Just right click, create folder, and name it to script so that you can keep all your C# codes from now on inside this folder. It's a very good idea to be very organized from the very beginning, because as you develop your project, it quickly turns into a mess. Believe me, if you don't try to be organized, you will lose control of your project very quickly. Now, when you create a folder here, you can see that folder here too, right? That's the folder you just created. And you can create a folder from here too. Actually, you can create another folder for your 3D models, and then you can find that folder here. The same is true for the packages. Actually, sometimes you may need to import new packages from here. The package manager, you can add, you can find and add packages from here to your project, and they will go inside this folder. But for now, we don't need to import any packages. When I click on each of these folders, their contents will be shown in here. Like for example, the scenes folder has a file with this logo, and it's named myscene.unity. The files with the .unity suffix are called scene file. By default, there is a scene file named myscene, and everything you have right now is inside this scene file. To understand what a scene file is, you have to think of your project in terms of a video game. Each video game has some levels. Now, each level uh, has some settings, some characters, and you can save all these settings and characters inside a scene file. You don't have to create a different Unity project for each level of your game. Unity allows you to save each setting as a scene file. The contents of this scene file is shown in this hierarchy. Let me change the name of this scene file to my scene so that you can actually see that this is the content of this file. When I change the name, the new name appeared here. Now in this hierarchy, I have 2 items, which we call each one of them a game object. So in future, when I talk about game objects, I mean the items in your scene file. The default game objects that exist in every new Unity project is the main camera and the directional light. Here you will have a list of all the game objects that you have in your scene file or in your level of your game. And this tab, out of these 3 tabs, is going to show you, is going to visualize the content of scene file for you. This tab lists the contents, this tab visualizes the contents. When I click on the main camera, you can see that the main camera is here, and this is the body frame attached to the main camera. The directional light is positioned here with this body frame attached to it. Now let's talk about some of these tools actually. If you click on this hand icon, you can move around in the scene environment. Just push the left mouse button and keep it that way, and then move your mouse. You will move like this. If you press the right mouse click button and move around, you can rotate like this. You can click on the scroll button and move your mouse. Also, you can scroll down, scroll up. Anyways, to master handling the game object in Unity, you need to be able to move around quickly. So practice to move around like this. That could be a good practice for you. Try to gain control over your scene. What does this tool does? This tool is useful for moving around the game objects. I can move around my camera along each axis, specifically if I left click on that axis and move my mouse button, but I can also move it holistically if I click on the center of the body frame and move my mouse like this. The rotate tool allows me to rotate around each axis. The x-axis is shown with the red color, so if you click on this arc, your game object is going to rotate around its body x-axis, body z-axis, and the body y-axis like this. To show you what a scale tool does, we need to create a game object. You can right click here, 3D object. Let's say you want to create a cube. Now with this tool, you can change the scale of this game object around each axis. Let me click on the game object again. Yeah, like this. Or you can holistically change the axis, change the scale with respect to all the axes. Cool. Now this is not what the user of the game or app that you're developing sees. That user is going to see what the camera renders. Right now there's only one camera in my scene. You may have multiple cameras in different locations, and whichever is active is going to show your user some things, and whatever that camera sees is shown in this window. Right now the camera doesn't show my game object. Let me reorient the camera. I can do it from the inspector window. If I click on each and every one of these game objects, I can see the options I have on the inspector window, and the transform option is common option that is a common option that all these game objects have. And you can reset the position and rotation or scale of a game object if you click here and hit reset. Then you can see the position of your game object in a world coordinate system is 0, 0, 0. The orientation is 0, 0, 0, and the scale is 1, 1, 1. Actually, the scale doesn't matter for the main camera because it's not an actual game object. It's not a physical game object, I should say. Still, my camera is not rendering the cube I had here. Let me just have both tabs, both windows here, and now the reason the camera doesn't see the game object is because the game object is not in its field of view. The field of view is shown with these white lines, and to be able to render the cube, I need to move it around so that it goes into the field of view of the camera. Now it's kind of positioned in the center of its field of view. Let's talk about the orientation of the game objects again. Well, these angles are actually XYZ are actually the Euler angles in this environment. Now, if you're an aerospace engineer or a mechanical engineer, you are already familiar with the Euler angles. The Euler angles can define the orientation of a game object in a reference coordinate system. When you define, I don't know, these values for the Euler angle, the way Unity orients the game object is that first it rotates the game object around the z-axis with 40 degrees. Then it rotates it around the x-axis with 20 degrees. And then it rotates it around the y-axis with 30 degrees. Just remember this. Let me take a snapshot of this orientation. Okay, 20, 30, and 40. Let me give these values one by one. I said first Unity is going to rotate the game object around the z-axis. So let's rotate it around the z-axis 40 degrees. Then it's going to rotate it around the x-axis with 20 degrees. And then it's going to rotate around the y-axis with 30 degrees. This is how it rotates, it orients the game object. You see? That's the logic that Unity uses. This is the logic of Euler angles. Now, one thing you might have noticed by now is that this body frame and this reference frame is actually a left-hand coordinate system. That means if you align the four fingers of your left hand and then the palm of your left hand, four fingers of your left hand with x-axis and the palm of your left hand with y-axis, then it's the thumb of your left hand that shows you the direction of the z-axis. You may be used to the right hand coordinate system, but Unity or many other game engines use a left hand coordinate system. It's gonna be easy for you to get used to it actually. It's not that difficult. So this is for now. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can write C# code and add them to your game objects as a component and actually do something with your game object. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a nice day.